Oppression. I hear a lot of women crying about oppression. They're talking about how oppressed they've been since the beginning of time, maybe. And maybe there's some truth to what they say. But let's talk about this. What about men? How many men have died in major wars protecting women and children so they could be oppressed, right? They don't even think about that. Why don't we all of us, try to be grateful for the thousands, the hundreds of thousands of men who have died so that we could have the luxuries and the paradise we live in today. I'm not talking here just about women. I'm talking about young men and probably some older men who complain about everything here in the U.S. If you've never been out of the country, you better just shut your mouth because we got it great here. I heard a story once about this guy from India. He was a priest or a guru or something from India. He stepped off of the plane and he looked out and he said, "These people live in paradise and they don't even know it." We complain about a flat tire. We complain about this. Oh, the light bulb went out in the kitchen. My car's not running right. The oil light came on, or the tire light came on. First world luxury paradise problems. What is it? About 75% of the world doesn't have a car. They don't have cars. But back to the topic here. And the topic is this. We need to feel grateful, to think about what we have here. If you don't appreciate something, I guarantee you, you're going to lose it. And we as Americans do not appreciate the U.S. as we should, the freedoms that we have here. I was the same way until I lived out of the country for 6 years, and I've traveled out of the country about 30 to 35 times in the last 20 to 30 years. And I've lived in third world countries, and I've lived similar to as the third world population does. Now, I had a certain amount of money every month that I got, but I did live in the same feed the hungry neighborhood that you'll see on the commercials trying to get you to donate to help these people. I lived in that type of neighborhood. I never knew what it was like to not have a washer or a dryer or a refrigerator, and I lived without those luxury items for several years. No cold milk, no cold drinks. You wash your clothes on what they called a pila. Sometimes we lived at one place where we had to wash our clothes in the lake on a rock and hang them out to dry. We did have a stove. For a long time, I lived without a stove. We had a cornstalk kitchen. I couldn't do that, so I guess I could have. But I went to the market and bought a hot plate, and I cooked on that. And that thing kept breaking down, and I had to continually repair it. But all these men, let's look at this. All these men, we got these people and women crying about depression. And this is the amount of men who have died, oppression. And this is the amount of men that have died to give us this wonderful life. No one talks about that a lot. Yes, they mention the veterans. Be proud of your veterans or be grateful for your veterans. But people really don't stop and think about it. So I'm going to go through the list here. American Civil War. And that was so that we could end slavery. And how many white people died in that? A lot of people. And a lot of black guys too. So both races were fighting for the freedom of that race. That was 620,000 people died in that, the Civil War. Well, but that could include both sides, so I'm not sure. Yeah, that's just both. Okay, so let's say that 300,000 Union soldiers died fighting for the freedoms of Americans. And then we have World War II. 405,399 Americans died in that war. Native Americans, African Americans, Irish Americans, German Americans died in that war. Okay, and where were the women? Most of them were back at home taking care of their kids, where they should be. They weren't fighting on the front lines then, nor are they now. There's a few of them out there, but it's less than 1%, probably less than 0.5%. They're talking about reinstating or instating the draft for women. And that's something else. They talked about they couldn't get the vote. They had the opportunity to vote back in 1895, sometime between 1895 and 2000, but they refused it because, along with the right to vote, they had to be registered for the draft, and they didn't want that. And I don't blame them, nor should they be. World War I, 115,525 people died in that war. The Vietnam War, 58,209. Korean War, 36,516 men died fighting for the freedom of women and children of the United States and the other people who couldn't fight or weren't at the ages to fight. American Revolutionary War, 25,000. I'll guarantee all of those were men. There might have been a woman spy in there or something. And we have the War of 1812, 20,000 men. Mexican-American War, 13,293 men. So why don't we have respect for men anymore? Why is it that women don't seem to respect men like they used to? They need to look back over history. And I'll guarantee you, if everything went to hell and we had an invasion, people would revert back to their normal gender roles pretty quick. Pretty quickly, they would revert back to that gender role. It's just, if we don't, what is the old saying? If you don't appreciate what you have, you lose it. There's a saying for that, but I can't remember what it is. So think about this. Think about all these men that died so we could have this wonderful, lovely life that we have today. The poor people in the U.S. are rich compared to 80% of the people in the world. It's like if you travel out of the U.S., most of you are probably going to the resort areas. That is not the true country. For example, Mexico, Cancun, different places like that. What's the one on the West Coast? I can't remember. But those places, you have to get out of the tourist areas. Then you find out what it's really like in that country. Why do you think all those people come up here? All through Latin America, Central America. I've been all through that. It's poor as hell. You go down to South America, similar. Those people don't have the luxuries we have here. And one of the number one things people from other countries wonder about when they come here is why the American people, and especially American women, feel like they're so oppressed. Because they know what real oppression is. They know what it is when a woman has no rights at all. I think a woman should have rights. I think women and men are equal in value, but we're not the same. We are not equal. I'm never going to have a baby. I'm never going to be able to nurture a baby or breastfeed a baby like a woman can. And a woman is never going to be able to fight like a man can. She's not physically, biologically designed for that. No more so than I'm designed to nurture a baby. It's nothing to do with prejudiced or racist or misogynistic attitudes. It's just the way it is. A square is a square and a circle is a circle. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. We're each designed, if you like, for a certain, for a certain capacity to perform here on the earth. But together, we combine our strengths, then we can become something even more. We're made to work together, and what I see a lot in the U.S. is the division. United we stand, divided we fall. So let's try to figure out how we can work out things together instead of attacking each other and feel like we're both against each other. We're not. Only in our minds are we against each other. And as you women can see if you're watching this, men have been giving their lives for centuries. Hundreds of thousands of them. I'm sure it reaches 1 million probably. So you could be safe, protected, and have this life that you have today where you feel like you don't need a man. Well, were it not for all these men who filled the need to protect you and me, you and I would not be here today in this free world with these luxuries, living in this paradise. All right, like and subscribe. Take care. Thanks for listening. My 1,626 subscribers. We're growing fast. Welcome to you guys. Take care.